At the end of this video, you will be able to create a track somewhat like this. Also, before we start the video, don't forget to subscribe because we're trying to hit some subscribers. What's up, guys? You already know who it is. It's your boy. And I'm not gonna lie, it is hot as fuck right now, probably because of all this heat that we've been producing. But we're gonna get into this beautiful video. A lot of people have asked me how to make drops with like those cool low-pitched vocal chops, and I low-key had no idea, to be honest. But I've been doing some research and I found some stuff how to make some sick vocal chop drops, and I'm gonna show you guys in this video. Before we start, you guys already know we have to follow one person on Instagram, so I already know who this is gonna be. I was looking through the people that followed me from not too long ago, and I saw the most funny thing ever. Look at this. This dude, DVJ Vimal, right here, has my Madsko pack as his profile picture, which is super funny. He already followed me on Instagram, so what we're gonna do is give him a nice little follow back. Thank you very much for the support, and if you want me to follow you on Instagram in the next video, don't forget to go to my Instagram right here and comment YouTube sent me on any of my posts. But without further ado, guys, let's get into this video. This is the track that we're gonna look at today. I just made this basic build up, to be honest. I made a drop and a little twist to the first drop just to make it a little bit more interesting for you guys, but we're gonna get into that soon. I know everybody of you wants to start at the top as usual to see how I made the vocal chops, but if you want to see that, you have to wait until the end of the video. I want you to pause this video right now and go to the comments and tell me what song I should remix for in the next video. I'm low-key out of songs. I haven't seen a lot of good songs in the past few days, but I want you guys to tell me what songs you like and what songs you want me to remix. I think we're going to start with the 808 in this video, so let me show you guys what I did here in the 808 at the beginning. It sounds like this. Clock should go off, but yes, that's basically what it sounds like. This is the 808 that I used for the build-up. I think that basically all the samples, or most of the samples that I used at least, were from the Madsko pack, just so you guys know. But yeah, this is basically the 808 that I used. I clicked on normalize. I don't know why, to be honest. I saw some people do that I've been working with in the past, but I tried to give it a shot to see if it sounded better. And this is how our instrument settings look like. So a little bit on the attack, the hold all the way up, and the decay a little bit up. Like you guys see, it's a very basic 808, like it's on F5 the whole time, and it does a few slides. So it slides right here from F5 all the way to F6, and then it slides back from F6 to G-ish. I don't know. I'm gonna search how to say that one day, just not today. I'm too lazy. When you go to this part, I also added a little pitcher, so automation pitcher to the 808, so it will go up. It sounds like this. And just before the drop hits, we got this little part, which is also again a slide like that. The only two effects that I use on my 808 are actually a stereo enhancer. So this one, which is panned a little bit to the left, just like that, and the stereo is separated 42%. I was thinking about using this equalizer somewhere in the song, but at the end I didn't make a complete song, so I didn't. But otherwise you would have that cool effect that it deletes all the lows, so it sounds like this. Instead of the equalizer there, I just used the basic equalizer down here and put the lows up a little bit so we can boost out the lows in our 808. The kicks that I used were also from the Madsko pack, and I used the kick number 3, the Moombahton kick, the super loud one. I only put a soft clipper on it so it wouldn't sound super super over distorted basically, and I pushed it down a little bit because it's already so loud. It sounds like this. And to make it even more full, if you guys seen my Squirtle Squad video, then you already know this, but if not, I've added these hats to it. which are basically to the same closed hat, but one, let's see right here, is panned to the left and the other is panned to the right. They hit at the same time as the kick, and that sounds like this. The last instrument that we added to our build up is the snare, and that one sounds like this. The only thing I did to the snare is add an equalizer on it, which cuts out all of the lows, and that looks like this. Let me see real. So when we start, it has all the lows that I initially wanted to have in the song right here, and then slowly it cuts out all of the lows until it gets all the way till here basically. Of course, to make it a little bit more full and make it sound more natural, I've added some sweep ups and crashes so it doesn't sound too empty. And when we get to the pre-drop, I've added this clock that I love to use in a lot of songs. It's a cashmere clock, and what I do is pan it from left to right, so you would have 2 ticks on the left side and 2 ticks on the right. I've used this pre-drop vocal, which is also in my new song called Turn Up Rhythm, but I got the same vocals that I used there and I use that as my pre-drop vocal. Push up your one and make the place start turn up. I pitched the vocal down with 8 semitones and also put a lot of effects on there, to be honest. These are more or less the same effects that I use on my vocal tag. So a compressor, a soft clipper, blood overdrive, another compressor. The delay I have, but I didn't put it on. Normally what I would do is link the delay to the peak controller, so every time it's quiet it has a delay, but I didn't feel like doing that, so actually we can delete those. A little bit of reverb, a tad of sound goodizer, and a little bit of basic EQing. The only things that are different in my drop are actually these snares that I add. So we would have this snare in the build-up, but in the drop I use different snares and they sound like this. So I use the same snare as the build-up, but I put it on B instead of C, so it sounds a little bit lower. I use this hard snare as well. This Mauritius style snare. And a reverse snare to get a cool effect that sounds like this. Also, I've panned these 2 snares, one a little bit to the left and one a little bit to the right, so it would. And I've added these perks to the drop. Which is basically just a rim shot, this little open hat or claw or something, and a congo. Put all of the snares and the perks together and it sounds something like this. If we go to the second part of the drop, I add another perk, which sounds like this. It's basically just a shaker. Together with everything else, it sounds like this. Add the hat and the kicks. And with the 808. That's dope. If we look at the effects I've added, I haven't done anything too crazy, to be honest. We still got the long sweeps right here at the end. The only thing I did with those is basically add a kickstart to them. We got this tambourine at the end and a little scratch at the end of the first part of the drop. Of course, we got the basic crash, the tongue roll from the Madsko pack, this core hit. I don't know, like I just recently found this sample and it sounds so sick, so I'm gonna add it probably in some more songs. The chopped horn, and this white noise with a volume automation on there, so it goes from 29% volume all the way up until 78. So it's basically a bit the same as a sort of kickstart, more or less, but I didn't want to use a kickstart. I wanted to be more specific with this one, so I did it myself. So now for the part that everyone has been waiting for, which is this top part with the vocal chops. Just to give you guys a background to this vocal chop, this is what it originally sounds like.
Straight in your face until me machine brisk cock. Boss me comfy bossy till you don't have no head back.
It's just a basic dancehall acapella. I got this one from YouTube. There's this playlist that's called Dancehall Acapellas. I downloaded it 100% legally And after I did that, the only thing I just did low-key was make some random cuts. So he talks quite quick, so it's not, I don't really understand what he says, which is good because I don't want to understand what he says in the vocal chops. But for example, this part, that part, I think is the same as this. You see? So I just made some random cuts like there, for example, and I kept that one and then ended it there, and then I don't know, there as well, and there, and blah blah blah, and I just messed around until I got basically this. If we delete all the effects that I put on this vocal chop, it would sound something like this. So it sounds super normal, to be honest. I think the cheat code to have good vocal chops is to use the right effects, and I'm going to show you the ones that I did. Basically, I've added a limiter, but you don't really have to add the limiter. I listened to the vocal chops without it, and it sounds basically the same, but just in case I wanted to add the limiter, a sound goodizer, which is free to use from FL Studio. I put it on A and put it all the way until, let's say, 80% ish. Now it would sound something like this. I think the sound goodizer gets more sound out of it, it seems like, and makes it less pure but more. It makes it less pure but better for Moombahton, I guess. So I use sound goodizer a lot, to be honest. I use this fruity equalizer to boost up some of the frequencies right here, like that. We got this reverb, which gives it actually a very big effect if you put the dry down. So instead of, I think normally it would be up here, but instead of that I put it right here, about here on 50 or 60%. I bought this little thing called Little Alter Boy, which is from Sound Toys, and this thing is a voice manipulator. So what I did was put it on transpose, link them together, and put it on -6, so it would pitch it down 6 semitones basically, and it sounds like this. And even if you don't have Little Alter Boy, you can also go right here, put this on 6, and then pitch this all the way down to get 6 semitones down as well. I've added another reverb to it like this to give it more fullness in the quiet parts. I've added a kickstart so it wouldn't interfere too much with the kick every time it hit. I've added another equalizer right here to cut off all of the lows. And I also use this same equalizer to do some automating of the highs in the build up to the drop. I have an automation on the highs, but also on the reverb. One of the reverbs, let's see, this one basically. So if I turn that on, the reverb looks like this. So the reverb would start with a lot, it will go down, and just before the song ends it would go up again, and the EQ will start very low and then go high. So basically it will add in more and more and more frequencies. Basically like that. The last thing I did to create this song is put a fuckload of reverb on the acapella. Use only the first part where he says something, so zoom in and cut out everything basically. Make sure you put off the kickstart, by the way, otherwise that won't work. But you would hear something like that, render that, and then reverse it, so you would have a really big tail basically like this one. I reversed it. This is the hit basically, like that. I'd reverse it so it would be like this, and you would see it would slowly come in, and right here would be more and more and more, like that basically. And then you can add a little effect just before your vocals. So basically that would sound like this. If we add everything together, it will sound something a little bit like this.
push up your wanna make the place start turn up. Finger that over your cheekbones. Bust it till you have no head back. Finger that over your cheekbones. Finger that over your cheekbones. Bust it till you have no head back. Finger that over your cheekbones. Bust it till you have no head back.
And there we have it. How to make a Moombahton track with vocal chops drop. With a sick, very, very sick vocal chop drop. I don't think I'm gonna use this project for anything soon. So what I'm gonna do is leave a link in the description that you can click on to download this FLP 100% for free. For free. If you want to help me grow, you can do that. The only thing you have to do is give a like to this video and also subscribe if you're new. Click that little notification bell button and we're good to go. As you guys know, you're still able to send demos to me via my Discord, link in description as well, and soon I'm gonna react to them. But until that time, you can watch my other videos, and I think I'll see you guys next week in the next video. Ciao.